Good morning. Welcome to Dornbush Download, number 142. Good morning, Brendan.
Good morning, Michael.
We're bathing here in the glory of this wonderful winter's morning out here on the deck. Too nice a day to be inside.
That's right, yeah.
And mate, look, we couldn't sort of do a download without quickly mentioning the state of origin this evening.
That's right.
You're our odds man. What's the sports bet guys telling us just at the moment?
Well, on a percentage, we're looking at 43% for Queensland to win. So I think it's $1.68 to $2.25. Yeah, that's the odds. So if you want a bit of a long shot, I guess you go Queensland, unfortunately.
Yeah, they might have a lobster on Queensland. They might do all right. They've got a couple of the big guys back, haven't they? Or big guns back.
That's right. Got JT, he's back. Yeah.
Mate, he'll be able to do it on his own, you'd have to think.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll go pretty close to it. I guess we better start talking about some shares in this market. It's been a bit of a tricky old time, Brendan, hasn't it? The last few weeks have been very tough going. A lot of volatility in the market. I just see before we're down another 70 odd points today. So
that's right.
Yeah, a fair bit happening. I guess we've been speaking a bit about this market cycle, and certainly May and June. Historically, I guess being the weaker months for the market, that's certainly reigning true, and there's a little bit of skullduggery with tax selling and things like that. But we have seen certainly a fair bit of pain in markets in the last few weeks. Bank shares, and I know we've spoken a bit about bank shares, down anywhere between sort of 10 to 15% from their highs in early May. So we're sort of hoping, I guess, that it's just more a market cycle thing. July tends to be a bit more positive, so hopefully, there's actually some opportunities out there to pick up a few of these stocks whilst they're down a bit. But I know you've been doing a little bit of research on big American player Amazon that's stirring up all sorts of issues, particularly for our local supermarket players.
That's right. So Amazon, they're looking at coming here next year. So interestingly, they already take $700 million of consumer spending as it is, and with the arrival of their internet presence here in a more permanent way, they're looking, I think, between 3 and 8 billion. So there's a fair whack from that, and also they're looking at moving into groceries too, fresh food in America. So I think it's a market. What's it called? They bought a big US grocery. Whole Foods markets. That's it. Whole Foods markets. That's where I got the markets from. But so that's the 8th biggest grocery market in the United States. So that's an interesting one. So I guess that puts more pressure on Woolworths and the likes of Coles. So with the fear that possibly they'll take a bit of that share too. So
it's the big unknown, isn't it? Because this news came out, I think it was late Friday night, or certainly over the weekend, and certainly indicates that Amazon is very serious about getting into the groceries and I guess the broad consumer staples market. So we've seen Woolworths in particular, with 85% of their revenue coming from supermarkets. Certainly, a bit more exposed there. Wesfarmers has come off a bit, not quite as much, and I guess that's because they're not quite as reliant on the supermarket side of things, but certainly creates uncertainty, doesn't it? And as we know, the market just doesn't like uncertainty. And I guess looking back at the Aldi experience, I remember when they first came in, and being a much younger fellow in this game, there was talk of, you've got to sell your Coles. It was Coles Myer at the time. Got to sell your Coles Myer. Got to get out of your Woolworths shares because Aldi's going to take over the world. It took them a little while to get going, but certainly the last few years, their reach into the marketplace has grown dramatically. So perhaps we're seeing a little bit of overemphasis on just how substantial the Amazon influence is going to be, particularly in the early stages. But look, you certainly can't discount the fact that, pretty deep pockets. They're looking at really getting a presence here in Australia. So if you're a bit worried about your Woolies or your Wesfarmers shares, give us a call. We've got a few people actually buying a few. I'll sit down a bit. So yeah, not it's not always doom and gloom, I guess, in regards to that. But yeah, certainly it's shaken things up a little bit in the last couple of days. You've also been having a bit of a look at nickel as well, though, Brendan.
That's right. So the nickel price itself has been coming down, and but what's actually happened just recently is in Indonesia they've closed 13 different producers there. So what's that? I guess that could put a base in the price of nickel. So the likes of Independence Group and Western Areas, they really had a pickup yesterday, but been sold off today. But with possible base in nickel price like set now, due to just reduced production, there could be some legs maybe just for that commodity in the foreseeable future. So yeah, there's I think Independence Group or Western Areas are
Western Areas for sure.
So there could be something there.
I think nickel too is a big part of the battery puzzle too, isn't it? They use a lot of nickel for batteries and things like that. So yeah, there's certainly a bit of scope for nickel. It has been knocked around the chops, hasn't it, the last little while? But yeah, maybe if you're looking at that resources space, nickel's maybe one of those core elements to be having a look at, and certainly some of the companies that are looking for the stuff at the moment. So I guess to wrap up, Brendan, I know we've spoken a couple of times about medicinal marijuana, and there's been some big legislation changes, of course, in the last 6 months or so, particularly at the federal level. We're still liking a little company, Cresco Pharmaceuticals, CPH. They peaked out at a price of, I think, of around about 80 cents. They've come back quite a bit. Some of that market euphoria has just dissipated. There still seems to be some good momentum there. And the uptake, just seems to be again gathering a bit of force. Still a little bit of I guess skullduggery at the state government level, and of course, these sorts of things being very new industries and a little bit controversial. That government, intervention does play a big part. But yeah, certainly CPH. If you're looking at getting into that space, that's one we're liking in that sector at the moment.
And who do they sort of focus at? What's their? It's more veterinary and
yeah, they actually do provide for pets. Yeah, so people with animals that might be a bit long in the tooth, or have bad hips and all of that sort of thing. There's actually an application for in the veterinary science areas. So yeah, but certainly a lot of it's being used for people with neurological disorders, epilepsy, that sort of thing. But yeah, it was quite interesting to see that there's quite a big marketplace for pet owners as well, just to I guess see their animals through in those more difficult times as well. So I mean, I don't know everything there is to know about it, of course, but the applications seem to be quite extraordinary. So assuming that governments can get on board, and there seems to be some really good arguments as to why they should, it could be one of those developing technologies where there's some real substance to it. So yeah, but other than that, Brendan, I think we're just about done. I think we've just got to get our bets on down at the sports bet. Who are you going for? So as a final sort of send off, Queensland or New South Wales?
Queensland by 4.
I'm going to go New South Wales. Dare I say it? They're going to be tough to beat down there, but head says New South Wales, heart says Queensland. We'll see how we go. Anyway, thanks for watching.
Thank you.